Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Rachel Piper with Size Diverse Pilates, and today we're going to do a little mat session with the magic circle, standing work that can also be done seated. So this is, as always, for my size diverse friends, but also anybody else who wants to join us on this journey. If you don't have a magic circle and we'll be pressing in to do some adductor work, you can grab a ball or you can grab some weights and just make sure they're out nice and high doing some of that work, or you can just think about the fact that you have a magic circle and do it without. Now, when we get to the ideas where we're using the abductor muscles and we might want to put the magic circle around the thighs or around the knees, if this is not going to fit for you, which it might not in most cases, because some of us have some nice strong legs, then that long double 10-foot band that I've been recommending on other videos, get that and tie it around in a circle. This is what you'll put around the legs or the top of the knees so that you have a nice amount of strength. Okay, so anytime that I put this around the knees, you can either put it around the knees like this. Now that might slide up, we'll see. Otherwise, you're going to put your feet in it. That's comfortable for you to do, and you'll just bring it up here, and then you'll be able to do the same kind of work. Okay, I prefer it to be a little bit closer to the knees than further up towards your hip flexors, just to get sort of that same idea. But that is that. Now if for your legs and you have the magic circle and you're trying to put it around and for some reason it just doesn't fit right and it's not necessarily a strong leg, we're calling them, thing, you might be able to just go ahead and put the magic circle right here. And it's going to be the same idea as that band right here. Okay, so those are your options. I want to make sure as many people can do this as possible. Same thing when we do the standing work. Putting a ball between the legs is really good. Otherwise, you're just going to act like you have a magic circle. And that's it. You can still move your leg the same way. So let's start standing. Okay, we're going to be in whatever position is comfortable for you today. That might be in parallel, which is toes straight, hip width. Your hips are not as wide as you think they are. No matter how much you got going on here, your hips are probably not as wide as you think. So here you can do a wide position parallel. You can also turn the feet out, which means that your heels come in toward your midline and your toes point out. So whatever's comfortable for you today. Then from here, I just want you to be in your tallest spine possible. So you're just going to be nice and tall. Now take the magic circle out front and we're just going to bend the knees. I know you were thinking, wait a second, I didn't realize I was going to be doing squats. It's just a little something, right? We're just going to warm up the legs a little bit, and this should help us warm up the back and the back muscles by holding on to this just for 5 here. So 2 more. And just remember to breathe and lift it up. Now from this position, let's put the hands on the inside. If you have the band, you can put your hands on the inside of the band. And we're just going to lift up the arms wherever is comfortable here. And then with a little bend in the knee, you're just going to fold yourself over. And you can curl down or you can just fold over. But you're just going to come down and reach as much as you can. And you're going to come down here. And then when you're down here, you're just going to do a little hip sway. Little hip sway. So you come to one side, press the heels in, come to the other side, continue to press the heels in, and just warm up the back of the body. Then you're going to plant those feet and you're going to start rolling yourself up. So maybe you need to bend the knees a little bit, roll yourself all the way up, stretch the arms up overhead. We're going to do one more like that. This is just a nice gentle flow. So go ahead and come all the way down and reach down towards the floor. And then as you're here, it doesn't matter how far down you go. Doesn't matter. You're just going to shimmy the hips back and forth. And it's a slow shimmy. Like we're not dancing yet. We might later, but we're not dancing right now. One more shimmy. Plant those feet. Oh, roll yourself up. Whew, all the way up here. Now, if you can do two more like that, otherwise we're going to do the seated version because I want everyone to know what this is like. You can have your hands on the inside or the outside. Nice wide Pilates V. And then from here, you're just going to curl down just like a spine stretch. Plant those feet. Keep the feet planted. I just said feet. Keep the feet planted. And then push into the feet to roll yourself up. So here, I want your hips to stay exactly where they are, and you're just rolling the spine down and back up, okay? We're just loosening up the spine. Again, if you're going all the way down, you can go all the way down and come all the way back up from a standing position as well. And then reach yourself up here. Okay, so 4 total there. Now let's go ahead and go into some of that arm work. You can be in whatever position's comfortable. Shake those hips out if you need them. You can roll them around, whatever you need to feel comfortable in your body before you start this work. Hands on the handles on the outside here, maybe a little bend in the knee, and we're going to do 8 presses. So you're just going to press that magic circle in. Your arms are straight out of the shoulders there, and you're just breathing. Again, if you don't have the magic circle, you're going to take your arms out in front and you're going to act like you're squeezing it. Trust me, it's enough. And then take that down, roll the shoulders out for a second, and then we're going to do our reach up high. So high doesn't have to be by the ears. It's wherever you can be to have a connection to your arm, to your back. So what I like to say is that my arm is still by my armpit. If I reach my arm out, then I come out of this armpit and I've gone a little bit too far. So come to whatever's comfortable for you, that you can keep the shoulders down and reach the arms up. 8 presses here. Again, your foot position, you can try all of them if you want to, but here as we're standing, we are thinking we are so tall from our tailbone to the top of our head. 2 more squeezes. Then we take the circle down and we roll that out. Now we go low. So for this one, sometimes I need to take my arms back and move them a little bit so that I can move a little flesh out of the way and get my arms straight down. So we're at an angle here. And then from here, again, super tall from the top of the head. And we're going to do 8 presses here. 2 more. And then you get to roll that out. Now we get to take the magic circle out to the side. If you have your weight, you're just going to lift the arm up and bring the arm down. Okay? So on the hip, whatever leg position that you want, heel, so your arm is nice and straight, and then you have the heel on the magic circle, and then the magic circle is going to be on wherever it lands on your hip. And then from here, we're nice and tall, and then we're going to press in. I want you to think that you're pressing this from your chest and your back muscles and not so much from your elbow or your shoulder. Yep, last one. And then we'll take that over to the other side. Be very similar. Get your heel on there, reach the fingers down, square shoulders and hips. This hand can be on your hip. It can be reaching, it can be long, just as long as you're wide across the collarbones. And then you're going to press 8 times. 3 more. And then you get to shake that out. Now here's the one. This one's really stubborn. We're going to go back behind. So you're going to hold the magic circle just like this. See, it's like right around my butt. And as you're here, you might just be able to hold this and that's it for you. And that's okay. Otherwise, you're just going to press or think about pressing 8 times. Like sometimes I don't even think I am pressing, to be honest, because it's so hard to be back here and do the work. Last 2. And then bring that forward. And that's our arm work. So you can just sort of shake it out and feel nice and good about it. If it was a lot for you to be standing, and I don't think I said, but you could do all of that seated as well. The one behind the back sometimes gets tricky depending on what chair you have, but you can do that. And then we just kind of get to roll it out. Okay. Now we're going to do some standing work here with the leg. So for this, you may need a pole, you may need a wall next to you. It is a balance challenge to do this one. You're going to place the magic circle right between the legs, up above the ankles, and your toes are going to be pointed in front of you for parallel position. Now, for this one, you can simply not use this, but be a little wider than hip width in parallel, and then pick yourself up and just think that you're pressing in. And it's going to be a micro press. It's not going to be like a scissoring effect. So just kind of watch what happens here if you don't have the magic circle. So hands can be on the hips, they can be behind the head, or they can be reaching. So they can also be on a wall. So on a wall is the most supported. Hands being down here, another option, and then it gets a little bit more of a balance challenge depending on that hand position. So I'll start with my hands on my hips. You're going to lean to one side. You're going to stand in this leg here. This is called the standing leg. The leg that's holding the magic circle is your working leg, meaning now we're going to make it work and we're going to press the legs in towards each other, just 8 times. I know it seems like a lot to do 8 here. And then you're going to come back to center. We're going to do that on the other side. We have 3 different variations that we do. So you'll lift up to the other side, nice and straight. And then you're going to do your presses. And the whole time that you're doing this, I want you to think that you are still long from like your head to your tailbone as you do this. You're creating space in your waist here. Go ahead and come down. Now, if the magic circle moved, you can place it back where it needs to go. Otherwise, we're going to do the front quarter turn. You'll come up first. Then you're going to take the magic circle towards the front, just about a quarter of the circle. Then from here, you're going to press backward 8 times, 4 more. And then center it and come back down. I'm just going to move forward a little bit because I'm hitting that back there. Then we're going to do the other side. So come up nice and straight. Whew. Stand in that standing leg and then come a quarter of a circle forward and then do your presses. Remember, we are super long. It almost looks like we're super people, superhumans. Ooh, that just like messed up my balance. Last one, and then come center. Okay, whew. I'm still okay with my magic circle, but I'm going to give you a second to get your magic circle where it needs to be because most of the time when we do the turns, it wants to fall out. So now we're going to do a quarter turn back, which means that we're going to come up. We're going to take the working leg backward, and then we're going to press forward. Okay. So come up nice and straight. We're square here. Then we're going to take that leg a quarter back, and then we're going to press into the circle. Woo! 3 more. And then come center. This is the one where I have to fix my magic circle every single time. I just have to like pop it back up in place. Okay. All right. Then from here, we lift up the other side. Ooh, get on that standing leg and balance. Quarter turn that back, and then press the leg forward. And then from here, you might want to adjust the head position. Your head is reaching nice and tall. Woo. 2 more. And then come back center. Really great job. Okay. We get to shake that out. Shake those legs out. Hips get to be shaken out. You get to roll them around a little bit. I love doing that work. All right. Now we're just going to do a couple of the head presses. So this is really good for our necks. I'm going to go ahead and sit down for this, but you can do this standing. We just won't do the back one because the wall behind me is actually a false wall. So we won't be doing that. All right. You're going to sit down, just sit in a nice comfortable position here. You're going to take the magic circle. You're going to put it on your forehead. And so you can do this with your hands as well. I like to put them back to back here, and then you will lightly squeeze, press back into it. But here with the magic circle, you're going to put the pad on your forehead. Then you're going to cup the magic circle right here. This is what it looks like from the side. You're going to be nice and tall. You're just going to do tiny little presses. You're going to try and keep your head exactly where it is. Just 8 presses. Last one, and then you get to take it out. Go ahead and turn your head side to side. And then we're going to put it on the chin. And for this one, I can't really talk, just so you know. It gets weird. I've tried it before many times. It gets weird. So you're going to put it on your chin, and then you're going to curl your hands over here. And then from here, you're going to keep yourself in like your natural position, mouth is closed, and you're going to do the little presses. So we're going to do 8. I'm counting on you to count for yourself here. Okay, that's my 8. Then I'm going to come center, and we're going to do side to side. You're going to place it right over your ear, and then heel of the hand comes up. You're sitting nice and straight. You have everything square, and just little presses here. And You're resisting, but you're trying not to have to resist so much. I mean, you're not trying to like do this huge opposition between your head and your arm. You're just trying to do something little to let your neck muscles know that they're still there. Okay, so we're nice and tall here, and then little presses to the side. And just 8. Good. The other one that we do, and sometimes you need a little bit of a support to hold it, is we would put it back behind the head and you would go against a wall and then you would be able to lean back into it. But like I said, this is a false wall, so we're not going to do that one today. Let's go ahead and take it down to the mat. Okay, so that's some of our standing work, and we can do that seated. And this one right here, you can come here and lift one leg up and do this work here. The idea is that you're going to try and keep this leg here nice and straight as you do it. Honestly, it's working a different muscle set, but it's kind of a nice muscle set to work. And then you can still come forward and try and press that leg back, and then you can press forward. So again, it is different. I definitely, if you have the ability to stand and you don't have a disability where you cannot stand, I would go ahead and try standing and then hold on to something and try some of that standing work. Even if you just put it there and stand up and hold the position without doing any squeezes, eventually you'll be able to squeeze once, and eventually you'll be able to squeeze twice, etc. So it's always good for us to practice that. Okay, so here you go. So this is where you might want to use the band that I talked about. We're going to do our 100 from here. We're going to do 5 exercises on the mat here before we call it a day, because the standing work does take a little bit of time. And honestly, if you're not used to doing some of the Pilates exercises standing, it can be quite a bit, honestly. Okay, so you're going to take the magic circle around the knees here. Any of the positions that I talked about, if it's the band or anything else, you can do that as well. So from here, I want you to actively press those knees apart, like so much. I really want you to get a nice, strong feeling in those legs. Your toes are down, your heels are down, all that good stuff. Go ahead and reach the arms up. You can keep your head down for this, but I am going to go up into an upper up curl here. Nice big inhale. On your exhale, curl up, bring the arms down, then start your pumps as you inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. This is our 100. So we're inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. We're going to switch the arm position up when we get about halfway. Remember to really pull out into this magic circle here. It's really going to help you connect. If this is too much on your head, please put a prop behind the head and continue, or place your head down on the mat. Okay, here we go. We're going to hold, and we're going to inhale up for 5 and exhale down for 5. Inhale up and exhale down. 3 more. Inhale. Reach out into that magic circle. We only have 2 more. Last one. Lift the arms up. Bring yourself back. Woo! Release the magic circle a little bit. And if you need to windshield wiper the legs, go ahead. If you need to turn your head one way or another, go ahead. That can be a lot of work. Thank you so much, especially when we do the whole 100, or even if I accidentally did like 110, 120 there, it's a lot. Okay, we're going to start with our half rollbacks. So go ahead and come up however you can come up. I'm just going to go ahead and come up like this. I want you to keep the magic circle in the same spot. And then I want you to take your legs out and press the heels in and reach the toes up. This is our foot flex position. So if I ever say flex the feet, just think that you are trying to point your toes up towards the ceiling no matter where they are. Whenever you point, the toes are going away from you. So just think toes toward you, point, toes away from you. Okay, so you're here. We're just going to do a half roll back, or you can go all the way back. So for your half roll back, if you have the band, you can do it this way, or you can go ahead and unwind your band and put it around your feet. It's okay with me if you do either. So from here, we're just going to half roll back, and then we're going to exhale and come up. And you're going to pull out on that magic circle. So we're going to use all the muscles in these legs. We're going to press the heels down, and then we're going to exhale and come up. We're going to do 3 more like that. Inhale back and exhale up. 2 more. Each time, maybe go back a little bit further, or maybe you just keep going to the same spot, or maybe you just hold at the top where it's a lot of work and you continue there. Good. Now you can stick with that. Otherwise, you can put the magic circle around the feet, stretch them a little bit long. You can put a little bend in the feet. Again, you're going to flex those feet so your heels are down and your toes are going to be pointed up. And even if you have this, if you have a band and you need to put a band around the feet, you can absolutely do that. Let's see how fast I can undo this. Okay, that's pretty fair. So you can use the magic circle and you can use the band at the same time. The idea here, and I have it double banded because I have the long band, is that you need to make sure that your feet are tall enough that you can get the band around if you want to do this. But you're going to be pushing out into the magic circle and you're going to be holding onto this. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that variation. Let's go ahead and roll halfway back. So push those feet away from you, try and get those heels down, and then come back up. We're going to do 2 more like that. Roll it back and exhale up. 1 more like that. Roll it back. You're just trying to reach, be in that longest flexion you can right here, and then curl yourself back up. And now you can go all the way down to the mat, or you can do anything that we've already done, including the 100. Come on back. Put those ribs down, come up into an upper ab curl, press out into the magic circle, come up and over and stretch. 2 more like that. Reach it back. I know it's a lot of roll-ups, but they're so good. Reach out and come up. Last one. Pull out into that magic circle like crazy. Upper ab curl, push through it to come up and over. And go ahead and come up. We're going to skip our single leg circle, but we are going to do some stretches. You're welcome. Yay. We're going to do a little TikTok type stuff and a stretch. So let's go ahead and take the left leg long, right leg comes up, and then magic circle comes around here. Otherwise, you can use your band for this. Absolutely. It's also a great stretch. You're going to pull the leg into a little bit and let it relax out. Now, if it's more comfortable for your low back to put your standing leg down, go ahead. And if you need a little bit of a pillow here, you can place that underneath the head. Whatever's comfortable so that you can get a nice stretch and not feel any tension like in your neck or in your head or in your low back. Okay, this is supposed to be a nice thing right now. Working out can be a nice thing too. Okay, that's what we want. We want like really fun, enjoyable movement. Now I have my right leg, take your right hand into the circle, and you're just going to guide your leg out and keep the opposite hip down. So your opposite arm you might want to reach away from you, and you can go out as far as you want to. I can go out pretty far, um, pretty much almost all the way out here, but you don't have to. And just know that when I first started, a stretch for me was about right here, and that's okay. That's okay. Just takes a long time of practice. Then right leg, left arm, and then you're just going to cross the leg over to the other side, trying to keep the hip down so you get stretch here. Here's what I know some people like to do. Sometimes they like to bend this leg and pull over a little bit, and you can do that as well. So you can do any variation here. Just when you're pulling, try and make sure that you have a little bit of a bend. If you can hyperextend the knee, like I can, you're going to want to make sure you have a little bit of a bend here so that you don't hyperextend. And then go ahead and come back. And then from here, we're going to take the right leg down. We're going to reach the left leg up, get it into the circle right over that arch or right below the ball of the foot there. And then we get to reach this leg up, and we just get to think about putting both hips down equally so that we can get a stretch in this leg. We're going to pull the leg into us and breathe. So good. So good to breathe. Maybe you wiggle your toes a little bit, and then you release off a little bit, and then you get to pull back in. Nice big inhale. And exhale. Left leg, left hand. Opposite hand goes out to the side, and then you're just going to reach this leg out. So as this leg reaches out, the one that's in the magic circle or your resistance band, you're going to try and keep this opposite hip down. And so you just get to stretch it, and you can breathe here for 1 or 2 breaths. You want to try and get both sides equally, unless one side seems to be needing a little bit more of a stretch, then you can do an extra breath or an extra half breath over there. Switch over to opposite leg and hand, reach the left arm out to the side, and then stretch here. And again, whatever you want to do to feel a stretch in your side body, maybe your butt, maybe your hamstring or your leg, just go ahead. Take that breath. So good. And then bring it back. So that was our single leg circle today. We can take the magic circle, do a little upper ab curl, and roll ourselves up or come up however you can come up. We're going to do a little rolling like a ball. So we'll do a little prep. So for this one, magic circle around the knees. This is my favorite spot. Again, if you have the band, you're going to put it right here. You can also put the magic circle like this as well. So from this position here, and I usually like it the other way, we're just going to come up. I actually do like it this way a little bit better for my body. We're going to come up here, and I'm going to hold underneath my legs. Then from here, we're just going to take some mini rocks. We don't even have to rock back today. If you want to and you're like, I need to do some rocking, go ahead and rock and roll. You can do it. But other than that, I'm just going to hold here and think about connections, nice wide elbows, and I'm trying to be as wide as possible here and as wide as possible in my back. And I'm going to try and keep my low back, that lumbar area, nice and round. So just back and forth. So if you have trouble even picking up the legs, that's okay. Like, here's a little option that you can do. You can put the magic circle down. You can walk your feet forward, and you can just do this. You can think, how do I pick up my legs? And maybe you just sit here and you think about, like, how much can you reach your low back backwards? And as you reach your low back backwards, you're strong in those arms. Just think about, like, okay, like, could I maybe lift my legs? Or could I maybe lift one heel and put that heel down? And then could I maybe lift the other heel and put it down? If you do this, you're going to be finding the connections you need to eventually just be able to come up into that rolling like a ball position, okay? So I don't want you to think Like, ugh, I just cannot lift those legs. And in some cases, in larger bodies, if they have, if you have a prop underneath the legs, a nice steady prop, triple this up and put it underneath, you might not be able to lift as much, but in some cases you can actually rock back and come up a little bit easier than it is to just try and lift the legs. It all depends on what you have going on in the legs and in the belly and just in general. If you haven't been in that position many times before, it's just hard to get there. So just even thinking, even with that, with the band of coming in and being strong here, and then just lift a leg and lower a leg. Or maybe you're right here or right here, and you just think, can I lift a leg and put it down? Can I lift a leg and put it down? Super good work. It's good work for anyone. If you have, it doesn't matter what size you are. Sometimes you just have something going on in your body, and for some reason, it's just really hard for you to lift both legs. Just practice one leg at a time, and that's it. So, last exercise, spine stretch. Oh, that's not true. We're going to do another one besides that. So, two, but you'll like them both, I promise. So I'm going to take my legs nice and wide so that I can sit nice and high. If you're on the floor, just go ahead and get a blanket, put it underneath, whatever you need to sit as tall as possible. And you're just going to place your magic circle out here. If you have a ball, you can do it. If you have the band, then you're just going to hold your band right out here and do the same. You're just going to go ahead and curl down, okay? You don't have anything to push into, but it's not required. You can still, it's all about the articulation of the spine here. It's not about like how far we push the magic circle down. So nice wide collarbones. You're sitting really, really tall from tailbone to top of head. Then from here, you're going to take a huge inhale. And then on your exhale, you're going to tuck your chin down and you're going to start curling your spine down. I'm going to take my elbows wide and press into my magic circle. The pelvis stays upright the whole time. So if you start to hinge forward, pull yourself back, please. And then you're going to inhale here as you stack back up. Super big inhale. Now exhale, curl it down. Exhale everything out. Inhale. Reach up nice and tall. One more. Exhale everything out. And inhale. Reach everything up. Super tall. Okay, last exercise. Love this exercise. Magical mermaid. All right, so for here, I have my feet down. You can actually, I'm just gonna cross them. So most of the time I cross them, but you can be however you need to be. You can actually be seated up because it's actually a lot easier to be seated up for this. You can have your legs straight out in front of you. You could be sitting on a high mat if you have that. The only thing that's difficult if you're sitting in a chair is the fact that you need something that you can put the magic circle out onto that's about the same height as where you're seated. So we're going to do our magical mermaid. It's a side bend. My husband's getting mad in the background. Go ahead and reach the arm up. And then as you come up and over, you're going to start with your head and you're going to start articulating over and pressing the magic circle down. As you press the magic circle down, I want you to press this opposite hip down. So we're trying to create space on both sides and go ahead and lift back up. So the idea here isn't that we are leaning over, we are doing this nice big like rainbow idea of like coming up and over, and we're trying to create space in our side waist. So two more here. Heel on the magic circle, come up and over, and then reach back up. Oh, I forgot to say, if you don't have a magic circle, you can put your hand wherever you need it to be, and then you can reach up, press your hand into your thigh, and come up and over and back up. That's kind of nice. If you have a ball, you can do that. If you have a stack of pillows, you can do that. You can do either version. Really, the idea is that we don't really need anything. We're just trying to be long and come over, and then we're trying to pick ourselves back up. So we're using all of our muscles in our side waist. Okay? All right, let's do 3 on this side as well. So heel on the magic circle, reach this hand up. We're super tall. We're coming up and over. Nice big inhale over. And then exhale back up. Stay super tall. Reach that opposite hip down as we come up and over, pressing in and up. Last one. Reach up and over and exhale back up. There we go. That is our magic circle for the day. And I always, anytime I do magic circle, I like to let everybody know how magical I think they are. So I'm so glad that you did this quick magic, I don't even know how quick it was, but this little magic circle class with me. That way I get to tell you how magical I think you are, that you showed up today for yourself, for your movement practice, all that good stuff. So I think you're magical. And the last thing that I always like to do after class and doing something with magic circle is I always like to sort of get up and then I just sort of like to shake the hips and twirl the hips a little bit. Whew, and like shake it out because the magic circle is something else. But I think it gives us a positive attitude about the magic circle when we can do some of the standing work and like do a little dance and then get on the mat and play around, stretch out, do some of these nice, like it's work, but it's side bendy stuff. And then we can come up and we can just sort of like shake it out and leave on a positive note with me telling you how magical you are. All right, I'm so glad you joined me today. Play around with this and let me know how you like it.